So, lads, this is not a great look for the Indiana Fever organization. If you've got Caitlin Clark, the star of the Indiana Fever, she's going and seeing whatever about not seeing the Indiana Fever's doctors. Like, it is what it is with that. It is what it is. Like, I think a lot of players and teams get second opinions. But if you haven't seen here, Stephanie White says there's no update on Caitlin Clark or potential timeline. She met with another doctor, but White says she hasn't spoken with the trainer.
The superstar who single-handedly reignited basketball in Indiana just sent the loudest message in WNBA history, and she didn't even have to say a word. Caitlin Clark, the face of women's hoops and the player packing arenas like they are Taylor Swift concerts, has reportedly gone silent on the Indiana Fever's medical staff after her latest groin injury.
Pretty much kind of leaked out the bag to the team that she was kind of going to get a second opinion. To me, an athlete like Caitlin Clark on her level, she should have been getting these second opinions. She should have been hearing from all these other doctors, man. But Stephanie White spoke to the media yesterday. She really didn't give a whole lot, but she did say that Caitlin Clark was in New York meeting with other doctors. Now, with all of that being said, what does the timetable look like to me for Caitlin Clark coming back? I keep telling y'all, around the 17th to the 30th of August.
And honestly, it's about time someone called this franchise out. Indiana has been treating their generational star like she's just another role player, and Clark is clearly over it. Let's break down what's really happening behind the scenes at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and why there's growing buzz that Caitlin Clark might not stick around in Indiana as long as fans hoped.
She has met with a different doctor. And she won't even give an update to the team. Not, oh yeah, she's met with a different doctor and we're waiting on an update. She's waiting, or not even, well, that's basically it. They're waiting on, she's gone to a different doctor and they've heard nothing.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. When Clark limped off the floor against the Connecticut Sun on July 15th, grabbing at her right groin in visible pain, it wasn't just another injury scare. It was a breaking point. Insiders are already comparing this to the Kawhi Leonard saga in San Antonio, when a superstar completely lost trust in their team's medical staff.
News: Caitlin Clark. Following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation, with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time. Any further updates will be shared as they become available.
Think about it. Clark has now racked up 4 separate muscle injuries in one season. Left groin, left quad, and now right groin. This is a player who never missed a single game due to injury in college or her first WNBA season. Suddenly she's sidelined over and over again? That's not just bad luck. That screams medical mismanagement.
But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no practice time, which, if that's actually true, like if she wasn't practicing, if she wasn't going full speed, then why was she returning to the court? And that's actually something that I pointed out. I believe it was Scott Agnes reported that Caitlin had gone full speed in practice, but there was only one practice that she had gone full speed, and then she returned to play.
The boiling point came when she was rushed back from her previous groin strain, only to re-injure it within games of returning. According to sources, Clark flat out told team officials, "I'm getting my own doctors. I'm not using our doctors." She's meeting with outside physicians and refusing to keep the Fever's training staff updated. That's not stubbornness, that's zero faith left in the people paid to protect her.
Caitlin Clark's team has made it known we are going to be holding her out until she is fully recovered. We are not going to be rushing her back at all. After taking Indiana Fever's advice, eventually Caitlin Clark needs to take matters into her own hands, make decisions for herself, and I believe that's what we are seeing with the team that she now has surrounding her.
Let's look at the timeline Indiana doesn't want you to connect. On May 3rd, she sat out with left leg soreness during the preseason opener. On May 26th, she missed her first ever career game with a quad strain. By June, she'd missed 5 more with a left groin injury. Then on July 15th, she hurt the right groin late against Connecticut. And by July 24th, the Fever announced she's out indefinitely. No details, no timeline. That's 11 regular season games gone, plus the Commissioner's Cup final. Almost half a season lost to recurring injuries that, with the right medical protocols, should have been prevented.
The people were speculating that Caitlin Clark injury could be much worse than expected. You know, these type of injuries and the way she's been getting these injuries is not normal. To have these strains back to back to back like this, and I said this before, Caitlin Clark mobility is off, bro. I believe she might have came back too fast from the first. We all know the first one went down around the 25th of May. Then she came back and got re-injured around the 4th of July to the 5th, somewhere up in there of July. And then that brings us until now.
And here's where it gets even more telling. Clark went to New York for second opinions and never even told Indiana's trainers what the doctors found. Head coach Stephanie White admitted she hasn't been looped in on the results. When your superstar is basically running her own medical team and cutting out the franchise. That's not just about an injury. That's about trust being shattered. Fans thought White, with her Coach of the Year title and Fever history, would be an upgrade over Christy Sides. But instead, she looks like a coach trying to fix something that wasn't broken.
The only good news about today is Caitlin Clark is no longer dealing with Stephanie White and these coaches and this Indiana Fever medical staff, trainers, doctors, none of that. She's seeing her own medical doctors, her own team. That's the only good news of today. She has abandoned the Indiana Fever medical staff, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. She's pulling a Kawhi Leonard, what he did with the San Antonio Spurs, letting it be known, hey, look, I'll get back to y'all when I'm ready. I'm going with my own medical staff. Y'all can beat it, kick rocks, and I stand with you, Caitlin Clark.
Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Christy Sides knew how to unlock Caitlin Clark. Say what you will about her flaws, but she understood the golden rule. When you've got a generational player, you don't cram her into your system. You build the system around her. That's what fueled Clark's record-shattering rookie stats, Indiana's first playoff trip since 2016, and sold-out arenas nationwide. Contrast that with White, who's openly talking about moving Clark off the ball and splitting playmaking duties. That's not strategy. That's sabotage. You don't take the ball out of Magic Johnson's hands because of pressure. You don't sideline Jordan because of double teams. And you definitely don't turn Caitlin Clark into a decoy.
The problem of this team is Stephanie White. It's Stephanie White. It's not Caitlin Clark. A great player don't all suddenly sucks. That doesn't happen. It's strategic. And everybody saying that they played better without Caitlin Clark. No. Actually, even this loss, Caitlin Clark gives them a better chance. They're under 500 without Caitlin Clark.
The clearest sign of Clark's frustration came after Indiana's loss to the New York Liberty on July 22nd. Photos surfaced of Clark, her agent, and Liberty coach Sandy Brondolo, along with Brianna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu, in what looked like a private tunnel meeting. This wasn't a quick post-game hello. With her agent in the room, that screams business. Translation: while Indiana fumbles their superstar, the Liberty are already laying the groundwork. And the reports back it up. Clark has essentially ditched the Fever's medical team, is working with her own specialists in New York, and keeping results private. This is textbook Kawhi Leonard, the kind of medical split that ends in a superstar forcing their way out.
But this is how it starts in sports. This is how it starts in the NFL. This is how it starts in the NBA. When you start seeing the wheels in motion, there's signs. There's signs before eventually a player gets traded. A player eventually marks their next destination. The Indiana Fever, you're on notice. You're on notice. You better recognize what you've got going on, the asset in front of you, and you do whatever you have to do to correct what is happening.
The issue runs deeper than just bad luck. Medical pros point out that recurring groin and quad injuries usually signal something systemic: bad rehab protocols, poor load management, or flat-out misaligned training. The fact Clark keeps getting the same injuries shows the Fever have never addressed the root cause. Experts have already called Indiana's handling amateur hour. And the results are on the court. With Clark, the Fever look like a playoff lock. Without her, they are barely hanging on at 4-6. That's the difference between being a contender and being irrelevant.
Out there, why Caitlin Clark was injured is a real thing. It's not just because she's a good player and people go hard against her, in my opinion. There's some other stuff going on there. A lot of pressure to put people in seats, to put eyeballs on the game. You come back a little early. Teams, as they should, play hard against her. Some teams go over the line and refs seem to look the other way, in my opinion. You had some of that going on with some other talent in the league as well last year. But this is different. And Stephanie White needs some blame as well. The team seems a little rudderless.
Here's the uncomfortable truth Indiana fans won't want to hear. Caitlin Clark doesn't owe the Fever a thing. She's already brought them sellouts, national TV relevance, playoff runs, and millions in revenue. What have they given her? A carousel of injuries, coaching drama, and a medical staff she flat out doesn't trust. Instead of building the system around her, they are trying to force her into theirs. Clark should be the offense. Period. The ball should be in her hands, the pace should be hers to dictate, and every roster move should be about maximizing her skill set. But right now, Indiana is wasting her.
Remember Peyton Manning when he called his own plays? He said, Tony Dungy, you run the defense, I run the offense. That's what exactly needs to happen in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark is literally Peyton Manning. She should be calling the plays. She should run the offense. And Stephanie White call the defense.
And that's the part that stings most. Clark is just 23, in her prime. These are supposed to be the years Indiana is surrounding her with championship-caliber talent, not fumbling basic medical care and coaching philosophy. Every game she sits out is a game closer to her eventual exit. Meanwhile, other organizations, like New York, are already circling, building the case for why she'd thrive somewhere else. They've got stars, they've got competent coaching, and most importantly, they've got a system ready to let Clark be Clark.
There is a WNBA team that have been very, very, very much in, like, they made it clear that they want Caitlin Clark, or they're eventually going to want Caitlin Clark. Along those lines, they made it very, very clear. And that team is the New York Liberty. I think there is a 50-50 chance Caitlin Clark leaves Indiana after her rookie season. No, after rookie contract is up. Because...
So let's be clear. Clark cutting off the Fever's medical staff isn't just about one injury. It's about a pattern of disrespect and mismanagement. It started when they rushed her back too soon, and it continues with a coach who doesn't understand her value. When a once-in-a-generation star no longer trusts her team to protect her health or her career, that's not a bump in the road. That's a red flag that the relationship might already be broken.
Quote, "This is the first time I haven't felt like a young body that can run around and sprint every day and just continue to do that," Clark said in an event during All-Star Weekend per Glamour. Being a professional athlete, you really have to take care of both your body and your mind. It's been a journey learning about that.
Just look at her body language. Head down, towel over her face after the latest injury. She's exhausted, frustrated, and done waiting. She's consulting outside doctors, meeting other teams behind the scenes, and refusing to share updates with her own staff. Those aren't the actions of someone tied to Indiana for life. They are the signs of a superstar weighing her options. And the Fever need to wake up. Either build around Caitlin Clark the right way, or watch her take her generational talent to a franchise that actually will. Because right now, Indiana is doing everything in their power to push away the best thing that's ever happened to them. The clock is ticking, and Caitlin Clark's patience has officially run out.